Business is all about providing value. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. I'm in the automotive space. So you want to sell your car. I'm going to provide you value. I'm going to make it quick, easy, safe, and secure. And you're going to be happy to pay me. But there are many dealers, unfortunately, that do take advantage of people and they more so chase the money.
Meet Henry the Closer. Went from sleeping on the floor to running $1 million motor business.
If you don't ask, you don't get. Most people won't ask. They're too shy. They're too uncomfortable. And it applies to anything in life. It's very important to get out of your comfort because when you're in your discomfort, that's where real growth comes. I think every single human being on the planet, regardless of your background or faith, you need to speak to our Creator because God listens. God is there for us, that He loves us. We're all connected, regardless where we're from or who we're born to.
You have $1,000 to your name and you want to get into car sales and build your online brand. What are the first steps you take?
You go buy a car.
Welcome back to the show, guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to this episode so you never miss an episode. Like it though, because I'm trying to hit 1,000 likes this episode, hit the algorithm, and get everyone to see this value, okay? Woo! We got Henry the Closer, in my opinion, the most viral car dealer right now.
Most viral.
For real. You have to be.
It's okay.
In Canada?
We're just getting started, Ernesto.
You said you started 10 months ago?
You got it.
Right, with the socials?
About 10 months ago, a little bit longer now, I think.
Okay, you just off camera you just said that you're not even a car guy.
No.
So that's
not much of a car guy.
So where does your story start? Like where do you start getting into business? At what point in your life? Like take us back.
Getting into business in general or the automotive industry?
Business in general.
Business in general. I've been hustling since I was a young boy. I was probably 12 years old. I started hustling.
Okay.
12 years old, I started grinding and I never stopped.
And like siblings?
Siblings, yes. I have an older brother.
Okay.
He's the reason I got into the car business.
Okay.
He was doing sales for a dealership, and because of him, I was kind of in between a couple things. And he said, "There's an opportunity. Come join me in car sales." And that's when I started. I started when I was about 17 years old.
Okay.
Never looked back. Been in the automotive game ever since.
And then is anyone else in your family, like your parents, or
No.
was anyone in business?
In business, yes,
But not cars.
no. Not
Okay.
cars.
So talk about the initial start when you get into cars and talk about what that was like for you. I guess you were learning from your brother?
So we worked at a place where we sold a lot of minivans. That's how
Okay.
we started. It's called the Minivan Superstore.
And this wasn't your business yet, or
It
your
wasn't my
brother's?
business.
Okay.
I started working. I was doing sales for somebody, and that somebody's a mentor to me in my life.
Okay.
Somebody I respect a lot. They also came up from nothing.
Nice.
Did very well for themselves. It's two brothers also.
Okay.
So I have a lot of love and respect for them. And when I started, I got into sales, did sales for several years, and was a natural at it. We've been working hard and grinding. Technically, we're always selling. So whether you're in sales directly or indirectly, you're always selling.
Okay.
I've been blessed with being a natural at it. And
What does that mean to you, though, being a natural at sales? What does that entail?
that entails knowing how to speak with people and navigate conversations.
Okay.
So ultimately, whenever you're doing anything in life, there is a level of persuasion. So sales equates to persuading people to getting deals done. And I think it's a benefit in any aspect of life. And, we all have different gifts in life. One of the gifts that I've received from God is being well-spoken and knowing how to communicate with people. And that equates to being good at closing deals,
Well,
AKA sales.
That's one of the first things I noticed through your content when you showed up on my Explore page. I'm like, yo, this guy knows how to sell. That's for sure, right? And you mentioned you didn't come from wealth or anything like that?
No.
Came from hard times?
I don't know. Depends. It's
Okay.
all about perspective.
Of course.
Heart to some is not heart to
No,
others.
because I know online you probably get a lot of like, oh, this guy came from money, his family's...
No, we grew
anytime
up-
you show any sort of money or success, that's what they
Of
assume.
course. Well, listen, there's a lot of haters out there. So
Yeah,
you gotta
obviously.
you have to have thick skin to be in the social media game.
Yeah.
So also kind of natural at it. We don't mind all the trolls in the comments and whatnot.
Of course.
But definitely didn't come from wealth. Grew up in apartment buildings. Didn't grow up with money. Moved around a lot. I had a point in my life where I slept 2 years on the floor with no bed. So it wasn't always rainbows. But at the same time, those are really the best moments in life. It's always the journey that's the best part.
True.
And I appreciate and value the journey very much.
And at that age, I guess earlier on when you're starting with cars or even before that, were you motivated by money? Was money like a motivating factor for you?
Yes. It was not necessarily just the money. It's more so what the money could do for us. You know, when you have situations where a lot of people could relate when growing up, you don't grow up with money, you tend to equate money to being the solution to all the problems.
Yes.
So if there's any issues in the house, any hardships, any problems, you see your parents working insane amount of hours and you want to be able to help them, you know that money's the solution in order to do that. Of
course.
So it's more so about what the money brought to the table versus the money directly.
Kind of like the freedom that it comes with,
Exactly.
right?
Not just freedom, but being able to help those that you care about. That was really the driving force. And it still is. You know, it's not about money. It's about providing value and about helping others.
I like that. So how long are you working at this first shop, at this first dealer?
I'd say 5 years.
Okay. And then that's when you picked up and did your own thing?
5
when you
years.
started?
And then, I kind of got out of the business directly in car sales. Tried to get my own detail shop. Not tried, I did. Opened it up. Ran that for a couple of years. Didn't go well. Then got back into sales. Kind of, was trying to find my place. Didn't work to the way that I liked it. I didn't find a good home, I guess you could say.
Okay.
It's important that you work with or for the right people. And I didn't get that. A lot of people try to take advantage of you. So that's how I felt. I worked with some guys and I don't feel like they valued me or they appreciated what I brought to the table. Came to a point where I said enough is enough and we started our own thing.
And the car detailing, why did that fail?
It's not necessarily that it failed. We ended up selling that business, but there's no money in it. It's like slave labor.
Okay.
And it was also very hard to find the right people. Like in any other business, even today for me, it's a difficulty. And anybody I speak to in any level of business, it's hard to find the right people. It's the most difficult part, I guess, about running a business and growing a business.
Of course.
To scale it properly, you need the right people.
Okay.
And that was a huge issue I faced. And I ended up being a slave to the business. So I wanted to not be a slave. I wanted to be a business owner and have the business work for me versus me working for the business.
Okay,
So
so-
the car wash was very much me working for the business. And
So-
I didn't want to wash cars for the rest of my
So
life.
you go off, you say, okay, it's time to start my own business. And this is by yourself at that
It's
point?
with my brother. Me and
Still
my
with
brother
your
are business
brother.
partners.
Your whole life.
We're still business partners.
Sick.
We keep everything in the family.
Sick. So
Almost
so,
everything.
what was that phase like building out the business, your first business at that point in your life? Well, besides the car detailing, for example, right? This was a different beast. So what was that like building that out with your brother?
What was it like?
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. We seen an opportunity in the finance business.
Okay.
And a good friend of ours had a dealership and a very good relationship with banks. Essentially, we took over that. We bought him out from that aspect and we started running a finance company within automotive lending.
Okay.
So we got very big in that industry. Well, very big. It's relatively big, at least for us at that time, was big for us. And we started with nothing. We didn't even have an office. We shared an office with our friend. Our friend had another business and we would literally share his desk. My brother would chill in the waiting room with a laptop. I made business cards and credit applications and I would drive around dealership to dealership soliciting business. So a lot of dealers know who I am in the GTA.
Okay.
And I would literally knock on the doors. I would walk in there and say, hey, you have finance deals, send me clients, let's work together.
Okay.
How do we make some money together? And that's how we started.
So it was
We built
more
up a-
about the finance deal.
You got it.
Okay. So you guys start with that.
We started with the finance business. Finance business took off.
Okay.
We did fairly well in that field. And we kept growing it. We did that for several years. And then
So
COVID hit.
Okay. So talk about that. How did that change your business?
It changed.
Because you're just doing the finance side for a bit. You're not really selling or buying cars at that point.
Technically we were buying and selling cars.
Okay.
Because I did a lot of finance lead generation.
Okay.
So I was generating leads for people that want to finance vehicles.
Okay.
So I'd still get them the cars. We'd get them approved. We'd get the deals finalized. And also I'd work with a lot of dealerships as well to send me their customers and I try to help get them approved.
Okay.
So essentially I would leverage the relationship with the banks and leverage our knowledge in the car business, right? We've been in the automotive space for many, many years.
Okay.
We know how to put deals together. We know how to provide value.
Okay. So you said pandemic hits and there's a change. A change happens
Yes.
within your business?
It's not just my business. I think
Of course.
a change in the world.
Of course.
In many, many industries.
Yeah.
So, the automotive industry being one of them. And secondly, financing being another one, right? So how it works in our game is, you get kickbacks from the bank for referring them clients. So similar to like a mortgage broker. Mortgage broker makes money because the lender gives them a piece of the pie.
Okay.
So similarly in our industry, so that piece of the pie, went and shrunk down to a much, much smaller level. So there's not much juice in the game. And in the business, in order to make money, you have to really jam the customers with upselling them products, upselling them fees, and all kinds of stuff. It's kind of a dirty business. I don't like that industry. For me, it's always been about providing value to clients. And I didn't see a good opportunity for us to provide the same type of value. So we pivoted. And we had an incredible opportunity because I've had years and years. So if you look back at it, thousands and thousands of clients that we got their loans for them. And we had all the information and all the vehicles info. And we started picking up the phones and saying, hey, we did a deal for you 3 years ago or 2 years ago on this vehicle. Guess what? It's still worth the same money, or the price went up $5,000.
Okay.
Because the value of used cars went up.
It did.
So the finance business went down, but used car prices appreciated for the first time in history. Nothing like that has ever happened. And we had information on all these vehicles that we've done all the loans for and put the deals together for, and essentially picked up the phones and told the clients, listen, you have this car, your loan's for $30,000. Guess what? What if I cut you a check for $35,000? Will you give me the vehicle?
Wow.
They said, please do. I'm sitting at home. I'm not even working. We have 2 cars. We don't even need an extra car.
Okay.
And that's how Ride Buyers was born. We started buying cars from clients.
That was when it was born.
That's when it was born.
Buying and selling.
Buying and selling cars. So Ride Buyers essentially is the new business that we're focusing on.
Okay.
And it's just a car buying service. So
Worldwide?
no, not worldwide. We're focusing on Canada.
Just Canada, not the US either.
The US, not yet.
Okay. So you'll buy any car around Canada.
Yes.
So talk to me about that process a bit. So someone sells you a car, let's say they're in Nova Scotia.
Sure.
You buy the car, okay? What are the next steps that you're taking now to purchase that vehicle that's in another province, but also sell it? Because I'm guessing you're not trying to hold these vehicles on too long.
Definitely not.
Right?
So most of the vehicles, we kind of flip them before we go. So we do deal with quite a lot of wholesalers and dealers across Canada.
Okay.
So we're generating the leads, right? So I get the lead. We facilitate the whole deal. For example, if let's say you're in, I don't know, Newfoundland or Nova Scotia, wherever abouts you are, we get all the information from the client. We pre-qualify the lead. So similar to any other lead generating business,
Okay.
generate the lead, you pre-qualify the lead, and then we close the deal. If the numbers make sense, we'll close it. So for example, let's say you have, I don't know, a pickup truck and it's worth $50,000. So we see an opportunity where we can make a couple grand. We'll tell the client, listen, we could get you, $48,000. Would that be acceptable for you? He accepts the deal. We have partners over there where you can take it for an inspection or just drop it off.
Okay.
Or we'll have our transport company pick it up and inspect it.
Okay.
And we facilitate the whole transaction from
So-
filling out a form online
Yep.
to phone call to having your car sold nationwide.
And just from a business standpoint, like what would make it like, what's the margin you need to make on a car to buy it from another province and do that whole process?
It really depends. A lot of
Okay.
times, in this industry, normally rule of thumb is about 5% of the money. And again, it depends what you're doing it for. If we're buying it for retail, it's roughly about 10%.
Okay.
So that's usually the rule of thumb for automotive industry. People that are buying and selling cars retail, usually roughly about 10%. For wholesale, it's normally around 5%, sometimes even less. So it really depends. It goes deal by deal basis.
Okay. And so I guess you guys discover this new beast with the buy and selling and start putting some more eggs in that basket,
Sure.
right? Is that your main focus today?
Today, it's more or less our main focus.
Right? And the socials, that like your presence online didn't start when that started. It started a
No.
bit later.
Well, social started not even a year ago. This business started about 4 years ago.
Okay, so what made you want to start the socials?
So social media is obviously a marketing tool that is very much the future of any business. And we always were kind of in it, but not with this type of style, which is very different, more raw, more real. I had social media presence 3-4 years ago when I would hire actors, I'd give them scripts,
Yeah.
they do the videos, but it's very cheesy, it's not real. And also the viewers can sense that. You could tell if it's real or not real.
True.
I think it's a big part of the success on social media is people could feel that it's raw, real, uncut, unfiltered.
Of course.
There's no acting.
Yeah.
So it works very, very well. And we knew that early on. And 10 months ago, for whatever reasons, I came out publicly on social media showing what I do in the business.
Yeah. And I think it's impressive because it's a space and it's your space, like the car world is kind of untouched when it comes to sales wise, right? Like I don't know many people in Canada doing the content that you're doing. So how has that been reaction, let's say, from people in your industry? That you're the guy now on social media.
Reaction's been kind of cool. It's interesting.
Okay.
If we're selling cars, they're kind of bringing up, hey, I seen your video, or one of my shticks is I always wear glasses.
Yep.
It's like,
That's
hey.
why I got mine on today too. So you got a match.
So a lot of people kind of bring up the glasses. They'll bring up jokes. They'll bring up stuff they seen in my stories, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of cool to see everybody's reaction and how many people actually in the industry watch the content. I didn't realize, first of all, how big of an industry it is, from people that own the businesses to run service departments to the techs of the service departments to people running the sales side to buying and selling cars on the wholesale side to every aspect of the industry, from detailing to wrapping to tires and rims, and there's so many different pieces of the pie. You have so many people in the industry that really watch the business, and a lot of them are watching this type of content and they're enjoying it because it also puts a flip side on the clients.
Yes.
With this whole, at the end of the day, we're not McDonald's where the client is always right.
Well, it shows two sides of it, which I think car salesmen have got a bad rep for
Most definitely.
for forever.
We're making the car business great again.
Right? Making it just raw, right? Where you see both sides. Well, yeah, these guys are trying to sell. Well, look at the other side. Look at the clients, right?
Yes.
And the reason I asked you about the kind of doing it in an older industry is because sometimes when that happens, let's say you get a young lawyer in the law industry, right? And that's an old industry. You see a guy coming out making an online presence for himself. Some of the older heads and the partners might say, look at this kid. He's fucking up what we're doing, and he's ruining our reputation and stuff like that. So you got none of that?
Not really. To
No?
be honest, the older guys, they really enjoy it.
Okay.
Because it's very different. Usually, we're the ones with the bad rap.
Yep.
People in the car business that they shun and shame. Oh, you sales guy, you this.
Yeah.
But in reality, if people understood how crazy some of the consumers are, you'd understand that it's very much not even one-sided.
I know.
We have to have very thick skin to deal with clients.
Yes.
And in many cases, the clients are just ridiculous. That's why I mentioned we're not McDonald's or these businesses that say the client is always right. No,
Yeah.
you're not always right.
Yeah.
There is right and wrong, and sometimes customers are right and sometimes dealers are right.
Yeah.
So it really depends on a case-by-case basis.
True.
But the old-timers, they love it. They love it
Really?
more than anybody because we're exposing the clients and how ridiculous some of them are.
Yeah.
So they're having a lot of fun watching it.
Why do you think it's car sales that get the bad rep? Out of all sales out there, it's cars. Why?
I don't know what it is.
Why do people have such bad experiences?
Listen, it's, some of it and some of the stereotypes, and not just in car sales, in life in general, certain stereotypes are justified.
It's true.
I think you'd agree with that.
It's true. It's true.
Some of them have some truth to them.
Yeah.
Right? But there is really a stigma with some of the car guys, the stuff that people have done, and some of the stuff that customers have went through kind of is justified on some levels.
Yeah.
And part of what we're doing is we're putting everything online.
Yeah.
So we want to make car sales great again, and we want people to see what it is, with full transparency.
Yeah.
So a lot of dealers do scummy things. They take advantage of customers. They lie. They cheat. They do all kinds of disgusting things. And that's part of the reason we started the business is we don't like customers getting taken advantage of. A very wise man that I also look up to as a mentor taught me and told me some very wise words. What did he say? He goes, business is all about providing value. That's fairly simple. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. You're right now in your podcast studio. What are you doing? You're providing value to creators, and they're going to pay you for that value.
Yeah.
Same thing with any other industry. I'm in the automotive space, so you want to sell your car. I'm going to provide you value. I'm going to make it quick, easy, safe, and secure, and I'm going to make a piece. And you're going to be happy to pay me.
Yeah.
So in any business, what my mentor taught me, it's always about providing value. So for us, it's providing value and doing it the right way, the ethical way, and not taking advantage of customers.
Okay.
But there are many dealers, unfortunately, that do take advantage of people, and they more so chase the money versus chasing proper ethical value to clients.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you next. It's where do you see the most fuck ups in the industry, with dealers not providing value? Where do you see all these problems, and how, what are some things that they can do to fix them?
So it's we can open up a can of worms here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of insights in the industry that most people as consumers don't understand, right? So I'm not going to get into all of it because
Of course.
there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to be so happy with what I'm saying. And
Oh, then get into it for sure.
yeah, but there's certain things. We'll go step by step, like I
Yeah,
told you before
yeah.
we started.
Of course.
Certain things, a lot of times people will kind of lie. Not kind of, they lie flat out. So sales guy is incentivized to get a commission. He's lying to customers. You have people, for example, lying about accidents. Why?
Yeah.
If you just explain it properly to a client, let them decide.
Yeah.
If you're not lying about it, and some customers are okay with it. Let's say the car was involved in an accident, $5,000 fender bender. It happens.
Yeah.
It's a used car.
Yeah.
But at least be honest about it. So some sales guys, they'll say, oh, if I mention it, I'll lose the sale. So they'll lie. Or they say, oh, just something very minor. I had a guy in my office the other day. He bought a car from somebody and asked me, Henry, help me sell this vehicle. I said, sure. What do we got? Anyway, some Ford. Long story short, we're doing our due diligence. I quoted him on the price and asked him, is there any accidents in the vehicle? That is, a very important piece of the pie when it comes to selling a used car. If it has anything on the history as an accident, it obviously affects the price. So he goes, no, there's nothing that I know of. How long have you owned it? A couple of years. Long story short, we do our due diligence. Not only does it have an accident, the vehicle's branded. It's a salvage title. The car was a write-off.
Wow.
So the guy literally lied to him. And he called him in front of me. He's like, oh, the guy you're talking to is lying. It's not a big deal. I literally took the phone. I'm like, do you not have any conscience? Do you not have any morals?
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not a big deal? You told him there's not really any accidents. There's nothing major. Car is branded. It doesn't get more major.
Wow.
It's a salvage car. It was an insurance write-off. Insurance deemed it irreparable. I think that's an important piece of information to share with the client.
Yeah.
But being the sales guy, greedy, wanting a piece of the pie and getting a commission, and doing it in a dishonest way, he withheld that information.
And that's not even like illegal to do that.
No, but the thing is, it's not legal. But unfortunately, these people know how to kind of get around the laws.
Yeah.
So as long as you sign for it, go prove it.
Okay.
I told you, it's a hearsay, he said, she said type of situation. So from a legal perspective, you have to know what you're signing. You have to understand what are you getting involved in. Most people are so ignorant, they don't even understand. So they ended up signing things without even realizing what they just signed.
Yes.
This is also another part of where people really take advantage of customers.
Yeah.
And the same thing applies to other things when it comes to warranties and gap insurance and other products that they sell on top of it. It's a whole industry around it.
Yeah.
But there's a way of doing it. Of
course.
A lot of the people that are offering these, upsold products, all these, secondary things, they're very dishonest. And what happens is they come to me to sell the car. They think they owe one amount, and then I look at the paper. I'm like, buddy, you bought $18,000 worth of product.
Yeah.
It's like there's an issue.
So like how many times does that happen to you in a day where someone calls because they got fucked by someone else? And you can clearly tell. Like
Honestly, most
of the calls.
A lot of the calls are people that got taken advantage of.
Okay.
And again, there's always two sides to the coin.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, buyers are liars.
True.
They're just one of those things.
Okay.
A lot of people are also dishonest.
Okay.
So I don't always know who to believe, but all we know is people lie, but numbers don't. So
Yeah.
we always focus on the numbers because there's also two sides. I've had situations where the customers full out lie. I've had it personally and not once, in many cases. We had a lady one time that was suing us in court.
Yeah.
But she was fully lying about everything. The judge literally told her, and she realized her lawyer was milking her for money. He was also dishonest. The judge said, like, what are you doing to the lawyer? He ripped the guy apart.
Yeah.
Because why are you milking this poor client? You don't have a case. And clients are lying, lawyers are lying. So you got to be very careful. It's a very, fine line here.
Do you feel like with the social media stuff you've built more trust with these people now
Most
by the
definitely.
time they call you?
Most definitely.
Where they're not worried about
Listen, where everything's out in the open.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
nothing to hide.
Yeah.
I'm showing people what I'm buying them for. I'm showing them what I'm selling them for. I'm showing them auction prices. I'm showing them the whole industry from the inside out.
Yeah.
So it's definitely built a lot of trust with the clientele. And that was a big objective with why I even begun this.
And so I think the route that you take is like this raw, genuine, I'm going to tell you what it is, whether you like it or not kind of thing.
Harshest truth is better than the sweetest lie.
There you go. So, and 99% of the industry is just doing the other side of that.
Yeah, giving you
schmoozing and
sweet nothings in your ear.
sweet nothings in your ear, right? And okay, so now with the approach you've taken online, do you see other people in your space trying to do the same thing?
Yes. I've seen them and I also encourage them and I help them.
Of course.
I've had people reach out to me and say, oh, you inspired me, which is, for me, it's super flattering. It's hard to even, it's kind of hard to even realize what I've started over here. Because I'm not a social media type. I've always been a very hush-hush, quiet type of guy.
Yep.
And not in the public eye type of person. So
Yeah.
I've opened up a can of worms over here, or Pandora's box, I should say. So we're going to kind of run with it at this point. But it's nice to hear when people are watching it and saying it's like motivating them to do things. Dealers motivated now to post more content, to be more transparent with clients. And I've had quite a few people tell me that, they've been motivated and inspired in order to put out content, and I support them, and I've helped several of them, and will continue to do so.
What kind of benefits, or maybe what kind of doors have opened for you since starting on socials? Because, a lot of eyes on you now and a lot of things can happen, good and bad, obviously. But I'm talking more like, has there been any cool business opportunities, any cool employees that you've hired from social, anything like that?
Sure. So I put out a bunch of campaigns first of all, for hiring people.
Okay.
Hiring is the biggest struggle of any business.
It is.
So I have an opportunity when I put out a video, all of a sudden I'm getting tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions of views.
Yeah.
So why not utilize that to getting talent? And I've done that. And I do it regularly.
Okay.
So we'll literally put out stories, and I've actually done posts, full posts. They're still up on my social media. And you could see me literally talking to the camera.
Yeah.
Guys, are you good in sales? Do you know cars well? Are you good at inspecting cars? Are you a mechanic? Call me, hit me up, fill out this form on our website. Come work with us because
Yes.
we want to hire talent. Of
course.
So we have a new avenue in terms of marketing talent. So we're definitely utilizing that, and I've hired several people off of social media.
Okay.
And it's a core right now at hiring. It's a core in the hiring process right now in our business in terms of finding new recruits. Is I'm using the social media and leveraging it full force.
Okay.
Because getting the right people is the hardest part of any business.
Of course.
Right? So I'm definitely utilizing to the maximum. And then furthermore, in terms of opening doors, I haven't really pushed it that much. It's definitely opening up some opportunities, lots of interesting conversations, lots of connections in the industry in terms of wholesalers and dealer groups. I've had guys that, are part of, 30 new car store groups, 30 new car store groups. Usually these new car store dealers operate in larger groups.
Okay.
So I deal with the purchasers now, and they've already bought cars from me indirectly, right? Through auctions, through other wholesalers, kind of already know each other. But now it's much more open. So I've been getting a lot more exposure with people in the industry. So it's definitely opened up some interesting opportunities in terms of, buying and selling. And, we're definitely in conversations with some more interesting projects coming up soon.
Well, it opened up this door. You're here today too.
For sure.
Because I found you on IG.
Yes.
But even when it comes to the team, because I think every business owner is feeling that right now, that I can't find good people. Or when I find them, I can't even tell if they're good or not. So what are you looking for whenever you're adding someone onto the team? Like what character traits are you looking for? Is it culture? Do they have to fit in? What is it?
So it's a combination of everything. We want to see, first of all, that you have something we can invest in. We're not a company that takes advantage of people. We're all about providing value not only to customers, but to employees. So anybody who works at a company, it's like we're all one family.
Nice.
We're very much connected. We're tight. We all care for each other. We all help each other in the business and aside from the business.
Okay.
It's a very important thing for us. So, if you're really coming and being part of our team, it's a very big deal for us. So we want to bring in the right people. And, sure, we need to connect with you on morals and values and principles, and you have to have good work ethic because, as the saying goes, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So we're willing to invest in some softer links and harden them. And, if we see there's possibility to provide you value and give you a home where you can scale and grow with us, that's what we want to do. We want to invest in the right people who are willing to invest in our company. We're going to invest in them, and we're going to scale and grow together. And furthermore, have fun, enjoy the process, enjoy the ride, and really grow together. That's what life is all about. It's always about the journey.
Of course. And I think a lot of people, everything you just explained, that's what they're looking for when they join a company. They want to join a culture. They want to join a community. And I think a lot of businesses, screw up on this and they don't have a social presence. And, if someone's reaching out to you to work for you, they already know most things about you. They know how you are. They know how you speak. They know your business. So it's kind of like an easy way to find talent, like you said. But in terms of sales, do you think, and I've had this conversation many times, do you think being good at sales, is this something that more so comes natural to someone and their character traits? Or do you think that you can actually become like an unbeatable salesperson with starting at the bottom? Maybe you're shy, maybe you're all these things.
Sure. So talent is definitely a real thing. And not just in sales, in any aspect of life, in any skill in life. But hard work beats talent every single time. So, I wasn't always good in sales.
Yeah.
I wasn't always comfortable. One of the biggest reasons I'm good in sales is because I moved around a lot.
Okay.
Now, because I was forced to move around a lot and was put into these different situations, I'd have to speak to people. I would have to have a lot of adaptability.
Okay.
And I would adapt quickly. And because of that, it made me good in sales. So me, I'm literally a firsthand experience of somebody who wasn't naturally really that good in sales who became really good in sales. And it was because of being a product of my surroundings. So I definitely believe that you could get the right people to be good at sales, but talent is definitely something. But as long as they're dedicated and hardworking and they're going to utilize that talent well. Because otherwise, I'm sure you've seen many of them, Ernesto. A lot of wasted talent out there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So you could definitely train the right person, but it's better to train somebody with some talent.
Do you think when it comes to sales too, like just doing reps is a big thing? Like talking to different people?
Of course.
Like communication skills, confidence,
100%.
all of that stuff.
Of course. Certain things you can build up, but it's really coming out of your comfort zone. That's what sales is.
Yeah.
Most people even, they don't even have the conversation. Somebody also that I look up to who taught me a lot in sales, he told me, Henry, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
And it's true. Most people won't ask. They're too shy. They're too uncomfortable. And it applies to anything in life.
Of course.
It's very important to get out of your comfort because when you're in your discomfort, that's where real growth comes.
Of course.
You got to always be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's where you get good at sales and good at life, I guess you could say, not just sales.
And you mentioned the mentor a few times now. So do you attest a lot of what you know today to your mentor?
Sure.
Yeah.
Not just one mentor, but I've been very blessed to have the right people around me that I can look up to and that really, I could see the way they operate and it really inspires you to do things a certain way and it shows you the potential in life. So definitely the people around me that I look up to and people that I look up to as mentors are definitely a huge part of who I am and where I'm at.
Okay, now we're going to switch a little bit. We're going to go to business and talk about scaling. So what's the plan right now for you? Do you want to scale? Do you want to take over Canada? Do you want to go to the US? Do you want to go worldwide? Do you want to have 20 dealerships? Do you want to just have one dealership? What's the plan?
So I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm also on a spiritual journey.
Nice.
I'm studying,
I like
I'm a
that.
Jew.
Okay.
Studying Kabbalah.
Yes.
And learning the depths of the Torah. And certain things you don't want to put out there too early.
True.
So you go step by step.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into everything that I'm doing.
Okay.
But I'll give you a little snippet of what I'm doing.
Do
I'm
it.
definitely looking to grow and looking to expand.
Okay.
Physically, mentally, spiritually, on many different realms. And definitely in terms of business. So
So
we
hold
are
on.
going to be scaling it up.
Okay.
But I don't want to really talk about it until it's done.
So
I'd
you're-
rather show people
Fair.
versus speaking about it.
But you're on a journey, a certain other journey right now, you said, religiously,
Yes.
right? Talk about the role that's playing in your life right now and why you decided to take that journey.
Sometimes in life, when you don't have anywhere to go to, you find a reason to turn to our Creator.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. I turned to Him, and He's been there for me, and He's blessed me, and He's helped me in my time of need, and it led me to reconnect with Him.
Okay.
So it's a big part of who I am and what I am, and it's a big part of the business. One of my mentors, very highly successful guy, and I don't want to name names,
Okay.
or the business that he operates, but he has thousands of employees, ultra successful guy. And he had an experience also where, he reconnected with our Creator as a Jew, and he incorporates that throughout every aspect of his business.
And you're doing the same.
We are definitely doing our best.
So what initiated the need to reconnect?
What initiated the reason? It was a health scare in the family.
Okay.
It was a health scare in the family, something the doctors told us was going to happen and didn't want to believe it. Told people in my family, don't believe them. They really don't really care for the well-being of every human being.
Yeah.
They're more so similar to that sales guy who's not being honest, cares more about the money and their bottom line in their pocket versus actually healing people. And it's not always. It's not to say that all doctors are bad, but I didn't want to believe it. And I didn't know who to go to. I turned to God, and I spoke to God for the first time in my life. And when I spoke to God, He answered me and gave me exactly what I asked for. I had a conversation with Him. I asked Him for help, and He helped me.
Yeah.
So I feel it's only fair that I show Him respect and love.
Do you think more people need to do that?
I think every single human being on the planet, regardless of your background or faith, you need to speak to our Creator.
Yeah.
Because God listens, God is there for us. And people don't really understand what it is. We're all connected, regardless of where we're from or who we're born to.
Yep.
You didn't choose to be born to your parents and to your faith. What's your faith, Ernesto? What are you?
Roman Catholic.
You're a Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
So I'm born a Jew.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't choose it. You didn't choose it.
Yep.
But ultimately, we're born. We got the biggest gift of life.
Yeah.
The biggest gift ever. Life.
Yeah.
And, regardless of who you're born to or which faith you're born to or which religion or which ethnicity, we're all created in God's image. And speak that. He created us. So I think it's a very important thing to understand that he listens, that he's there for us, and that he loves us. And you'd be surprised at the things that can happen for you when you have faith, love, and respect for our Creator, and a little bit of fear.
So what changes have you noticed?
Everything. Everything. All kinds of changes.
Yeah.
Listen, the other day when doctors tell you there is absolutely no way, there's no way. And you tell them, guys, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
And you end up speaking to God, and then 2 weeks later, the doctors say, hey, we made a mistake.
Uh-huh.
And it's not once. I've had many different stories.
I could imagine.
Lots of interesting stories. And ultimately, I know our Creator is real. I love him. He loves me. And I know he loves all of us.
Yeah.
And sometimes, even though we don't understand it, when we go through hardships in life, we think it's a negative, but in reality, it's the biggest blessing we could ever have. It's the hard times that are the biggest gifts.
Yeah.
Even though in those moments, it's very difficult to understand. But that's what makes you and shapes you.
Of course.
Always the journey.
And I've been watching too, like on your socials too, you're showing you're on the journey, you know,
Yes.
you're proud of it. And I think, in the society we live in today, it's very difficult to be proud of the faith that you are for any reason. There's multiple reasons right now, obviously, right? So what kind of feedback, reaction have you been getting from that? And with everything going on in the world right now, what are your thoughts about faith in general? And I think there's an attack on every faith. That's what I believe. Roman Catholic, Christian, I think they're all being attacked, right? But certain ones being attacked more. What are your thoughts on that? Because clearly you're very proud of your faith. You showcase it. You show everyone who you are, which I think more people should. So what are your thoughts on that?
So what specifically? I think it was a couple parts
Just your thoughts on more so like the attack on multiple faiths right now, while you're being very proud and showcasing.
I think it's important in life, especially with my upbringing and the history of me and my family, is being proud of who you are.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, not to have fear in any man. You have to fear God and nobody else. Too many people get scared, and it's fine. We all have, some fear, and we get scared in life. But it's important to understand that everything's for the greater good. And when it comes to faith and belief, I personally don't think we're all created equally. And that's okay. I think, again, we're all born into what we're born into. And it's important for us to be proud of who we are. So if you're a Roman Catholic and you look what's going on in Italy, or, if you're a Muslim and you look what's going on in, certain Muslim countries where they're disrespecting the faith, or if you're a Jew and you see what's going on in disrespecting Judaism, I don't think it's okay. I don't think the religion should be attacked. I think religion is a very important aspect of life, and it makes you a good person, makes you a faithful person, gives you a lot of values that men in general need in life, and women as well.
Yeah.
When we live at a time where there's immorality at an all-time high, you have degeneracy at an all-time high, people doing all kinds of bad things, and that's being promoted, yet having faith, being humble, worshiping our Creator is attacked. I think it's a tragic thing, and I think it's important for every God-fearing human being to be proud of who they are and to make sure that, there's certain things that they tolerate and certain things that they don't, and not to be shy about it. Be vocal about it. Let people know that you love God, you love Him, and He's there for you, and you're not going to let people disrespect it.
Yeah, well said. I think there's been an attack on faith. I think there's been an attack on family structure.
Definitely.
I think all of that, right? So even talk about family, for example, with you being who you are, a very busy guy. You have a family? You have plans to have a family?
I'm not married yet.
Okay, but yet, there's plans to get married?
I have to find my wife.
Or you're
and have
manifesting the wife first.
She's
Okay.
coming. She's already there. In Judaism, they say, first of all, the whole notion of soulmate.
Okay.
If you're familiar with that term.
Of course.
The origination comes from Judaism.
Okay.
Where does it come from? The whole thing is the soul is one, right? We're physical beings. We're physical vessels.
Okay.
And then the soul is split up. When we go into heaven, comes down into the physical world, it gets split into two. One is male, one is female.
Okay.
So you have the soul that's split. So when you come into the physical realm, you have to search for your soulmate. That's where the term comes from.
Okay.
It's your other half.
Okay.
So every one of us have our other half out there.
Okay.
Our other half exists.
Uh-huh.
I think it's important for all of us, especially as men, to find her and bring some babies into this world.
Of course.
That's really the reason God put us here, is to procreate.
And again, you being the guy you are, business guy, what are you looking for in a woman?
What am I looking for in a woman?
Yeah.
Great question. So I'm looking for several things. First thing, I'm looking for her to be my peace. When I'm going out into the world and, I'm going through all my battles, I want to come home to peace. I don't want to come home to another war.
Yeah.
So secondly, she has to be very connected to family values, connected to Judaism. So I want a God-fearing woman
Okay.
who's of the same faith and ethnicity. I want a family woman who loves her parents and respects her parents. And I want a woman who wants to have a lot of babies and bring a lot of beautiful souls into this world.
So that's rare. Like everything you just said is pretty rare.
Is it?
I think so.
Why do you say that?
Well, it's just hard to. I don't know. You're single too. Why haven't you found the woman yet?
Well, everything,
Have you found someone with those traits?
everything in life comes at a sacrifice.
Okay.
I've dedicated much of my life to, bettering my situation in terms of business. And not only me, but, a lot of people are dependent around what we do.
Okay.
It's not just me. There's a lot of families that are fed.
Yeah.
There's a whole economy around us.
Your team, everybody. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
similar to you, similar to anybody in business.
Of course.
Right? And then, there's a trickle-down effect. So we support a lot of different people. And that came at a cost. Now, was that cost worth it? I don't know.
That was
I
my
don't
next
live life.
question.
I don't live life with regrets, Ernesto.
I was gonna
I
say,
did what
yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we all go through our journeys in life. I know people that got married young. I know people that got married older. I know people that never want to get married.
Yeah.
So we all go through our journeys. I don't think I was in the right place before. I think everything happens exactly how it needs to happen. And God willing, we get what we want and what we need in life. And I definitely believe God has a plan for every one of us, me included. And I'm going to get exactly what I need.
I think she might be watching right now. Your other half.
Who knows?
Hopefully, no.
Who knows?
Let's get into some exercises though.
Sure.
We got to get some value now. Okay. Some value for the audience.
I
That's,
didn't think I was a hero searching searching for a wife. That's funny.
we do it all here.
What
we
are
do
you
it
doing?
all.
Are you getting married or no? You
I'm
want a wife?
single. I'm single, but nah, not right now.
Why not?
I'm 31, so I'm still thinking I got like 2, 3, 4, 5 years to just.
All right.
I don't want to
Each-
force it. I don't want to force it.
to each their own.
I've been single for a while, and I'm same like you. Like I'm just dialed in right now.
Well, it doesn't have to be disconnected, though. You understand that? You know what they say also in Judaism? Parnasa, which means income, right? Generating wealth,
Yeah.
comes through the woman. So the wealth comes from the woman, and some of the biggest boys I know in terms of business,
Yeah.
monsters,
Yeah.
some of these mentors I speak of. You know what? The key to every
They
single
have a
one of
solid
them,
woman.
when I speak to them
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I go, guys, what is the secret to your success? Because some of them are just, I think I'm doing something right. I'm doing nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm literally doing nothing.
They're massive. They're ahead.
We're
yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
next level.
Yeah.
Right? And for them, they're looking at another peak. They reached one peak and now they're looking at another peak. And they're like, wait, I haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Yeah.
We got a lot more mountains to climb.
Yep.
And I'll ask them, what do you guys attest to being the secret to your success? What is it? And every single one of them tells me it's the woman.
Wow.
So don't
but-
think that one is, not connected to the
Fair,
other.
fair,
Maybe
fair.
the success comes through us, through her. And I think more guys need to think like that.
Okay.
And I thought like you my whole life.
Okay.
And
But would you agree it's harder now than 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago to find that person?
that we could go about that with anything in life. Like, you want me to play you a violin in the background and just say, oh, it's so tough? I think life got much easier, right?
no, it
Is
did.
it tougher? I don't know. It is in terms of a moral values. In a whole social aspect of the times we live in, do we have the same type of women who want the same type of things? Definitely not. But
Yeah.
the same could be set up on us. So I think it's important, and you asking about the spiritual journey, is, to get what you want, part of my journey is, if you build it, they will come.
Yes.
Or in this case, she will come, and then
Okay.
they will come. 'Cause
Okay.
the babies are going to come next, God willing, right? So if you build it out properly, I truly believe that it's going to be in unison with everything else you want in life.
Yes.
And it's going to help you scale and grow. I don't think they're in contradiction to each other. They're actually very much linked and a necessity for one another. For you to be successful as a man, you need a strong woman. And again, if you got to
Okay,
this point without a strong woman, imagine how much further you're going to get.
But there could be the other side of that token too.
There could be.
There could be a girl that comes into my life and just ruins everything.
Yeah, but that's why you got to pick the right one.
No, 100%.
So it's like anything in life.
So let me
You got
ask
to risk
you.
it to get the biscuit. Or
Of course. And let me ask you this, because I've seen two different ways that successful men find their partner or build their partnership with the woman. Okay, there's the guy that's saying, yeah, there's the guy saying, you know, I love this girl, so I love her so much. She's my soulmate, like you said. I'll do anything with this woman. Okay, then there's the other side that's just like, you know what? She's gonna take care of the kids. I make the money. I don't love her. I think she's gonna be a great mom, and the respect is there, the values are there, everything else is there. So there's those two approaches that I've seen guys take. Which one's your approach?
Listen,
Because it's like
I don't know why you have to choose one or the other again. Why can't you have both?
but it's realistic that
I think you gotta love the woman you're with, and again, love is like.
Yes.
I think it's also very much, romanticized, like from this Hollywood perspective.
Okay,
where
fair.
It's made into a delusional thing.
Fair.
This lovey-dovey thing is usually equated to lust.
Okay.
So I think a lot of guys, and again, a lot of my boys know me as a lover boy. I met her, I'm like, she's the one, and 3 days later, I'm like, oh, she's like, where's your girl? I'm like, what girl?
Okay.
So it goes both ways ultimately. But, I think a lot of it has been really, the Hollywood has put a thing on love.
Okay.
Love is earned, right? I love my mother
Yeah.
very much,
Of course.
very dearly. I love my father very much and very dearly.
Of course.
But there's nothing they could do really, that's going to make me lose love for them. And I'll work on that love all the time. And in many instances, you got to have compromise in life.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if I see something my parents do, and I think, you know what, I don't think that's right what they did, for me, they're always right, and they're always 1,000% right.
Of course.
And I'm gonna love them no matter what, and I'm always gonna take their side.
Yes.
So I'm gonna kind of buckle. So I think the same thing goes for a woman, because one of my mentors told me, when you get a woman, you gotta compromise. So this is the thing.
That's why I'm single still.
Guys, but this is what it is. Guys like us, we're already too comfortable.
Yeah.
We're already living our lives, and we
Yeah.
don't want to compromise. So I think it's important to compromise, but also to understand the importance that she gives you. She's the vessel to give you children.
Yeah.
This is the legacy of your whole lineage and your family. It's a
Yes.
very big deal.
Yes.
So I don't think it's a joke. I think it's a very serious thing.
Of course.
And it's a very important thing to find the right one who is going to help you build and establish and really continue your bloodline, which I don't think there's anything more important than that. It's more important than business if you think about it.
Of course. Well, you're building it all for that. Like your whole business, you're building for that. No, I just wanted to know because like guys have their importance on certain things sometimes, right? They're like, you know what? I'll never love anyone like I did with that girl when I was 25 years old, but she's going to be a good mom. So like guys compromise, like you just said.
Well, it's important. You getting with the girl also, like you got to understand which side are you going in. Is it for just sexual reasons or is it for something higher than that, right? And I think a lot of guys, they think with the wrong head and then they get into trouble, which again, I've been there, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your perspective. It's all part of our journey.
Yep.
But it's important to really understand what you want. And you should go for a good mother and a good woman, a woman that loves you. You should love each other.
Yeah.
Right? And you should care for each other. So I don't think you should get with a woman that you're just using her, to plant your
she's a
seed
nanny.
as a planter that you have back here, right?
She's a
you're just
gardener.
planting seeds in there and seeing it sprout. I think you gotta love your woman and you wanna feel that love in your household. I don't know about you, but I wanna have, God willing, a big table with lots of kids running around.
Of course.
I want the kids to feel the love in the
I've
house.
seen your parties already on your story.
Yes.
You got a lot of people there.
We always got people, thank God.
I love it.
Yeah.
So that is an important aspect for you though, to have kids. This is part of your legacy.
I think this is, again, you can't go on a spiritual journey without that.
Yeah.
Because God tells us that we're put here to procreate.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to, he created us in, his image. He gave us the ability of creation. We can create life. People don't understand what a big gift it is.
Yeah.
It's like you think winning a lottery is a big deal. We have the ability to create life. God gave us that ability. And if we don't use it, in essence, we're disrespecting God. So I think it's a fundamental importance, and people that choose not to, for whatever reasons, that's okay. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it's selfish, that we are put here for a higher purpose. And I think life is the biggest lottery you could ever win. And we have the ability to make lots of lottery winners, then why not?
Facts. Well said. Okay. We're going to go into some scenarios right now. Ready? First one. You have $1,000 to your name and you want to get into car sales and build your online brand. What are the first steps you take?
You go buy a car for $1,000 and you flip it for $2,000.
Really?
And then you do that a bunch of times.
Would you do it?
It's the only
Spend the
thing I
whole
would do.
1,000 on one car.
Well, what are you gonna do with it?
Okay, so what kind of car are you buying at that point?
Buying $1,000, I don't know. You'll buy some junk.
Yeah.
Go watch some YouTube videos on how to clean and detail. Maybe do a little bit of work mechanically.
Yeah.
Go buy a car for $1,000 that has an issue. Fix the issue. Solve it. Buy it for $700. Take
Okay.
$300 into recon,
Uh-huh.
which is short for reconditioning.
Okay.
Flip it for 2Gs. Take the 2Gs. Do that a few more times, and next thing you know, you're building a bankroll.
You're making it sound easy though.
Nothing. It is easy.
So let me ask you this
It's
part.
easier than you think.
Second part to that question though. Let's say I decide, okay, $1,000, I'm gonna go buy a piece of junk. Where am I buying this piece of junk? Where am I
Facebook
finding
Marketplace
it?
or
Facebook
Kijiji.
There you go. Done? And then how am I selling it? The same way?
Same way. It's
Damn.
pretty simple, man. It's not rocket science
Okay,
over here.
okay.
It's a pretty simple formula. And again, you do it in an honest way.
Honesty.
Don't be like these other guys. Don't give us any more guys that are gonna watch us and give us a bad rep, you know?
There you go.
We want a good rep. We're making car sales great again.
There you go. Scenario 2. Someone sells you a car and you pay a fair price. However, after the sale, you discover that something wasn't tested and it turns out the car is a lemon. What do you do next?
So lemon is a term we don't really use in Canada.
Really?
Lemon, yes.
Okay.
So the term lemon has a legal definition. It's an American term used for cars that are brought back 3 times for the same issue and warranty.
Dude, that's it. It has an actual definition.
It has an actual.
I thought it was just like a piece of shit
No,
car.
well, people use it in that kind of like a slang. It's a lemon.
Okay.
So if it's like what specifically? Like in the States, for example, if your car is deemed a lemon, it's deemed a lemon for a specific reason.
Okay.
So normally it's deemed a lemon. I don't know. You could have a lemon that the doorknob or the door handle just gets stuck.
Okay.
So it's like a nonsense issue. Or you could have a lemon that the engine's having huge issues. So
Okay.
it really depends on what it is.
Okay.
What
What if it's a big issue?
It depends on what. Fix it or take back the car.
Yeah. That's it.
You got to make it right.
Okay.
So if you're providing value to customers, another mentor. I love mentors, man. God bless all my guys that helped me and gave me a lot of value in life. Somebody very wise told me that true colors are not seen in good times; they're seen in tough times.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody is easy and fun to deal with when the sale is easy. You bought a car, you flipped it, you made
Yep.
money, easy peasy.
Yep.
What happens when shit hits the fan?
Yeah.
What happens when somebody calls you and says, "Hey, buddy, I'm stuck on the side of the road. I almost, got killed with your car." What do you do then? That's the real test of who you are as a man and who you are as a man in terms of business and what your ethics and morals are.
Yeah.
So the guy taught me, very wise guy, very successful guy. The true colors are seen in the difficult times and in the moments where stuff like this comes up because you really see a person for who they are.
Of course.
So you do the right thing, Ernesto.
Dude, everyone's happy when they're winning, right? Everyone's happy. Scenario. Okay, here we go. You just hired a new sales member fresh out of school. What are the first 3 things you teach them to set them up for success?
First 3 things.
3 things. You say this is the first 3 things this person's got to learn.
Discipline,
It's good.
ethics, and morals.
That's it.
I think it's pretty simple.
Cars, they can learn about cars.
Anything else you could add. It's in any industry, I think this applies.
Yeah.
It's not just in the car business. It's
true.
The person's disciplined, they have good ethics and good morals, they'll succeed in any business.
Last one. You're at an auction looking to buy cars for your dealership. You have a limited budget and need to buy 5 cars. How do you decide which cars to buy to maximize the profit?
Could you repeat the question?
You're at an auction.
Okay.
You're looking to buy cars for your dealership. You have a limited budget and need to buy 5 cars. How do you maximize the profit? How are you dividing that up?
It really depends.
Okay.
I don't ever end up at the auction and just,
It's
make
just a
these decisions.
scenario.
The scenario would happen, is what I'm telling you. We need a better scenario. I'm doing my homework before I go to the auction.
Okay.
And if I have the money, I'm going to figure out what to do with it before I go there. So
let's do this scenario.
A business without a game plan is
Yes.
just a job.
Let's do this scenario then. There's an auction coming up next week. How are you preparing for it?
I'm doing my homework.
Okay.
I'm doing my homework by, first of all, in the auctions, you could see all the inventory that's running beforehand.
Okay.
You have access to sold records. You have access to retail records. And you just check.
Okay.
It's pretty simple. Again, if I see, certain cars, for example, depending on my budget, it's going to limit me to what I can and can't buy. I have access to information that shows me how long the vehicles are sitting for in terms of retail listings.
Okay.
So I can see exactly how long they're sitting for, and I'll see what to buy, what not to buy, and I'll set myself a budget per car.
Okay.
And
And then I guess
We'll go nuts when the auctioneer starts.
budget allocation is just based on what the inventory is, or do you go in saying like I'm not spending more than 50,000?
Yeah, but whenever.
Say what you feel, bro.
Nah, but in the end of the day, you know, as the saying goes, you know, man plans and God laughs.
Okay.
Nothing ever goes as planned.
True.
So sometimes, I don't know if you've ever seen the car auctions. If you want, I'll show you them.
Of course.
You press one click and boom,
We'll
you
go
bought a
one
car.
time. We'll do a vlog one time.
Yeah, we'll do a vlog. I don't even go physically most of the time. I just buy online.
Really?
You know, we've had lots of times where we're like click backs and I'm like, oh crap, I think I bought a car. The next thing you know, it's like I actually bought a car. I didn't even need to. So it happens. But you
Okay,
know, it really depends.
not-
It's a broad question. It's hard to answer.
Yes. Not a scenario, but more a question because I've watched a lot of your content. How do you know a lot of these prices off the top of your head?
I don't.
You don't.
No, listen. Some of them I do.
No,
You know,
because
but
there's some you do. There's some I don't even see you looking at it.
I don't need to look because it's so repetitive. It's like it's
okay.
ingrained in your brain.
Okay.
If I just bought 5 2025 Camrys or 2022 Camrys or whatever it is, you know, 2020 Porsches or whatever the car is,
Yeah.
and I get a phone call and I just literally bought 3 of them.
Yeah.
I know exactly what the price is. So I don't need to check, right? So you really know the pricing off the top of your head, and it's very easy metrics to get when you have access to everything properly to really see what they're sold for and to see what they're selling for. So it's pretty straightforward. If I don't know off the top of my head or approximately, you'll know.
Yeah.
And if not, you'll check within 30 seconds.
You're like Chat GPT for cars, pretty much. That's what it seems like. All right, we're gonna have some fun now. Some more fun because we've been having fun. Number 1, what's the biggest regret in your career so far?
It's a tough one, man.
Pick one.
Investing my time in the wrong leadership.
Fuck, that sucks. Yeah.
The biggest one.
Yeah.
You know,
Losing time sucks.
it is and it isn't. That's why I'm saying it's a hard one.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't believe that there's any losses. I
But
don't
you also
have
learned a lot. Yeah.
I don't have regrets.
Yeah.
It's all part of my journey. So the closest thing to a regret would be investing my time to somebody who didn't see nothing. But at the same token, it was a big gift. Because
Yeah.
me seeing him not appreciating what I did for the business really led me to where I'm at now.
True.
So I don't really have regrets, bro. I'll be honest with you.
I like it. What's one thing most people don't know about you?
I'm an incredible chef.
Really?
Incredible.
Nice. I wouldn't expect that. When you
There
have
you
time
go.
to cook, you got time to cook.
I
eh?
cook almost every single night.
Wow.
One of my routines is I'll bring some of the guys from my team.
Yeah.
And I'll make the best steak you ever had in your life, the best lamb chops.
You seen the kitchen we got here, no?
I'm a meat eater. I
We're
gotta
ready
bring my
to go.
rabbi to make it kosher, and then we'll cook
Listen,
up a storm. No problem.
I'll take any kind of steak. All right, no problem.
You'd be in shock. One
Really?
day you're gonna come over for lamb chops.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not Italian, but I make Italian nonas go to shame sometimes. I make pasta.
Hey, you better watch. That's a crazy one.
I make pasta and sauces from scratch like you wouldn't believe. So
Damn.
I cook, man. I always wanted to be a chef growing up.
Okay.
So most people don't know that.
So your soulmate doesn't even have to know how to cook.
Oh, she needs to know a lot of things. And worst case, we could teach her.
There we go. How do you handle any sort of setback?
With a smile.
I love it.
With a smile.
You've been smiling this whole time. So
I always
believe
smile,
it.
brother. You can put me in any situation, and sometimes in life,
Yeah.
you have an option to smile and laugh or to cry. Choose to laugh and cry. Choose to laugh over crying.
Good choice. Well, I think you're gonna kind of use that answer again. But how do you deal with a hater? Someone messages you, yo, Henry, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You suck at selling cars, bro.
Listen, my whole
I'll
thing,
never sell my car to you.
My
You
whole
suck.
thing is, I like, when people act as if they know, and I had it all the time. I told you like before we started the podcast.
Yeah.
I was doing some lives, so I had literally people in the comments. I had one guy yesterday. I literally brought him up, and he had, kudos to him, the courage to even come up
Wow.
and have a live conversation.
Okay.
The more he talks, unfortunately for him, or fortunately, the dumber he looks.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you don't really have to do much. If you have to hate on somebody else and them doing content or them putting something out online, it's more they're projecting that something's wrong with them.
Yep.
So truthfully, I feel bad for these people because
Yep.
there's something wrong with them.
Of course.
So it doesn't affect me whatsoever. It actually motivates me even more. So
Good.
shout out to the haters. I love them. And I hope they get the mental help that they need.
Because usually how it goes is like you'll get 100 messages of love, and then you get one hater, and your day's ruined, right? But not you, not Henry.
Definitely not.
This guy's laughing it off.
I'm laughing. We're having
I love
fun.
it.
And worst case, we'll put him on a live, or we'll do a reel with him and put him online.
There you go.
Because that's the best content.
What's one car you would never buy?
Electric.
I was
Anything
gonna,
electric.
I was gonna ask you about that.
I like, I've been talking a lot about the soul.
Yeah,
Electric vehicles don't have a soul.
I know.
I love Elon Musk.
Me
Shout
too,
out to
me
freedom
too,
of speech.
Me too. But I wouldn't drive one. Yeah.
Electric is soulless. I'd rather be in a 69 Camaro or a
Attaboy.
67 Mustang.
Yeah.
It's got soul. It's got character. So nothing electric. Anything electric, I always stay away from.
What's the biggest mistake people make when trying to sell their car?
Not doing their own research. Look what the price is before you call me.
Okay.
Don't call me unless you want to be content.
They're
You
just
know?
they're just trying to find out the pricing from you. They don't
No,
even.
but again,
look
you gotta have.
Yeah.
Listen, you gotta have common
Yeah.
sense. You can't come to me and say, "Hey, I want 50 grand for a car that's worth 30."
Fair.
So you gotta just do your research before you call me.
This is a good one. I think I know what you're gonna say. But what are the worst drivers usually driving?
The worst drivers usually driving.
What kind of
BMWs?
I knew you.
Anybody with a BMW, the worst drivers out there.
Dude, but why? Anytime I'm on like the highway or I'm driving and like you see that one guy just going crazy.
It's always a BMW.
Why is it always a BMW?
I don't
though?
know. There's
I
something
mean,
about-
you see it. You see a lot of BMW owners. You see a lot of BMWs. What is it, bro?
I don't know what it is. It's a certain type of person. It's the same type of person that buys a Model 3. You have the same type of person that will drive a 335, and talk about it with more love than he does for his mother, unfortunately.
Yep.
So I don't know what it is. It's a
Dude,
certain character trait.
Every time you throw in a little jab at BMW owners in your content, I fucking die, man. Best Italian vehicle.
The best Italian vehicle? It's got to be a Ferrari.
Easy. Worst car make right now.
Anything Chinese.
Really. But people say it's cheap to fix and it's
I know. But
yeah.
I think we got to support North American made
Fair.
vehicles.
Okay, so you're going with that. That's the
Yeah, we got to support our own.
Okay.
Why are we bringing in? If Canada brings in Chinese cars, it's a disaster. We should support Canadian-made cars, American-made cars, Mexican-made cars, whatever. But we should support our country first before we support anybody else.
I'm buying my first vehicle. What do you recommend? $500 lease.
I don't know.
Like
Again,
something that's not going to break and something like any experience on that side.
it really depends on what you need the vehicle for.
Okay.
So for me to tell you, is the car right for you or not right for you, depends on what you need it for.
Okay.
So for me to provide value, I need more information. But anything Japanese. First of all, Hyundai has incredible deals. Toyota, Honda, you have so many options. $500, you could have quite a lot of options.
That's a good budget.
You know, a Camry, I don't know.
Yep.
Buy an Elantra. Just don't call me with negative equity.
And finally, our last question. Does money buy happiness?
No. Money does not buy happiness.
You got to explain. You're going to have to explain.
Some of the most wealthiest people I know are the most miserable people I ever met in my life. And when you go to third world countries and you go into a metal shack or a mud hut, some of the happiest people I ever met in my life. So it definitely tells me money does not buy happiness. Money gives you the tool you need in order to get the things you want and give you certain freedoms. Now, is that how you equate happiness? Definitely not.
Okay.
So this is also what they teach, the rabbis in Judaism, the Torah. They tell you very straightforward. You can't chase materialistic stuff. A man or a woman, you have to have a higher purpose in life. So I think happiness comes from purpose and meaning. And, if you don't have any purpose in life, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the world, you'll never be happy.
It's a good answer. So hold on. Let me ask you something though then about money. How much money till you're like, I don't need to work anymore?
There's no such thing. I don't work for money. I work for purpose. And my purpose is never ending.
So you're never going to stop.
Why would I stop? If you retire, you expire. Why would I want to expire? And do what? Go hang out on a beach? God gave you talents, gave me talents. If you don't utilize the talents to the fullest, then it's disrespecting God. Utilize the talents you have, your God-given gifts, and maximize on them and provide value not only to yourself, provide value to the world. Imagine how much help you could do. How much good you could do to others, how much help you could provide. Do that and do it to the maximum.
Well said.
Find purpose, chase purpose, and nothing else. And always provide value. The more value you make, the more value you provide, the more money you'll make.
All day.
All day long.
Thank you, my man. Thank you for
pleasure.
coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Guys, go check him out. I'm going to put his links below. Me and you gotta make me a steak in the next
Whenever you're ready.
little bit, And I hope your soulmate was watching this. And if you're
never-
watching this, come on, Henry the closer. He'll close you too. Okay.
She's already closed.
There you go. She's already
The
closed.
deal is done before they even know.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.